Okay, we're going to do tutorial 2, problem 1 first. So first we have two different vectors. U is I plus j minus 5k. Okay, so this is a vector. A vector can be written also as 1, 1, negative 5 with a round bracket vertically, or you can write it with a round bracket horizontally. Both are fine. They're equivalent representation. And another vector v, 2i plus j minus k. Okay, so v is, okay, you can write it vertically or you can write it horizontally. Both are fine. Okay. First, find the length. Okay, because we know a vector is a line with a direction. Okay, it's a line with a direction. In this case, because we have three components, it is a three-dimensional vector. So the length is just the length of the line, or it's called the magnitude of the line. And the formula is square root, right, of the first number square plus the second number square plus the third number square. Okay, so it's square root of 27, which is 3 square root of 3. Okay, the same formula for length of v is equal to the square root of, right, first number square plus second number square plus third number square. The result is square root of 6. Okay, this is the first part. And the second part, u dot v. Okay, u dot v is a dot product between two vectors. So there are two ways. Okay, the first way is a formula. It's going to be the length of u times the length of v times cosine theta. Okay, theta is going to be the angle between u and v. Okay, theta is going to be the angle between u and v. Or you can also get the dot product if you already have the representation of u and v, right? So you already know u is 1, 1, negative 5. V is 2, 1, negative 1. So just do the dot product by multiply the first two numbers together, right, plus the product of the second numbers, okay, and plus negative 5 times negative 1. Right, the result is 8. So there are two ways to get the dot product. Okay, then a cross product. Okay, so the cross product, suppose you are given two vectors, u and v. Okay, let's say they are three-dimensional vectors. So the cross product will give you another vector that is perpendicular to both of them. Okay, this cross product is going to give you another vector that is perpendicular to both of them. So in other words, it's perpendicular to the plane that is generated by u and v. Okay, so, and the length of the cross product, right? Cross product gives you a new vector. The length of that new vector, we have a nice formula for it, right? It's length of u times length of v times sine theta. Again, theta is the angle between u and v. Okay, that's how you get the length and the direction of the cross product. But of course, you have another way if you already know, right? If you already know what these two vectors are. For example, here u cross v. Okay, so the result is going to be a vector. So the vector has three parts. So the first part is going to be you temporarily remove the first, right? You temporarily remove the first component. Then what's left is u is 1, negative 5, and v is 1, negative 1. So you put them in this way, and you put, right, this beside them. Okay, this means the determinant. Okay, this part you can consider it as a 2x2 matrix, and with these two straight lines beside them, it's a determinant of the matrix. Okay, later we will talk about how. Okay, now we can just do. So how do you get the determinant of these matrix? You can just use the product of this diagonal minus the product of this diagonal. Okay, so it's 1 times -1 minus -5 times 1. Okay, so this will be the first component. The second component, very similarly, you just temporarily remove the second components of u and v, and what's left? All right, what's left is 1, -5, 2, -1. Okay, 1, -5, 2, -1. So you can get the determinant of it. All right, but here, whenever for the cross product, whenever it's in the even position, for example, here in the second position, you need to put an extra minus sign in front. Okay, and then for the last component, it's the same. You temporarily remove -5, remove -1, so it's 1, 1, 2, 1. Right, 1, 1 on the top, 2, 1 on the bottom. Okay, and here it is. So let's write down. So for the second component, it's negative. Again, it's this diagonal's product minus this diagonal's product. So it's 1 times -1 minus -5 times 2. Okay, and the last component is the same. It's the same. It's 1 times 1 minus 1 times 2. Okay. So here it's going to be 4, -9, and -1. Okay, so this is U cross V. Okay, and part D, what is V cross U? Okay, V cross U, you can use the same formula, right? But here we have a very easy property. V cross U is just -U cross V. Okay, V cross U is just -U cross V. Because both are perpendicular to both U and V, and the only difference between them is their direction. They are in the opposite direction. So here you can immediately write down the answer. It's -4, 9, and 1. Okay. And the last part is a projection. Okay, it's a projection, PROG, of U, right, on V. So if we sketch it, this is U, this is V. Okay, then what is a projection? Right, this is the projection of U on V. Okay, this red vector is a projection of U on V. Okay, it's just like if you are this guy, right, leaning forward, and the sunshine, right, the sunlight is from right above you, and then what's your shadow on the ground, right? This is going to be the shadow on the ground. Okay, so we have a formula, a nice and clean formula for this. It's just U dot, the unit vector of V. Okay. So far we haven't talked about the unit vector. The unit vector is just a vector. Okay, let's say this is a vector V. So the unit vector is just a vector in the same direction of V. Okay, but its length is 1. Okay, so the length of the unit vector is 1. Okay, then how do you get the unit vector? You just need to divide V by its, right, divide V by its length. That's how you get a unit vector. So it's U dot V hat right, times v hat. Okay, u dot v hat times v hat. So let's finish the calculation here. U dot v hat, right? V hat is just v over length of v. And then the result, multiply v over length of v. Okay, so it's actually u dot v over length of v square times v. Okay, u dot v, you already know it. It's, right, just now we already got it. It's 8. And length of v square is square root of 6 square, right, times v. V is a vector. Okay, it's 2, 1, negative 1. Right, then the result is just 4 over 3, 2, 1, negative 1. Okay, so that's all for question 1.